Right now, it's all about our marriage. When two people love each other and can't make that work, that's the real tragedy.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 movie couples we wish had broken up.
Christian, this is amazing.
For this list, we're looking at romantic pairings who should have called it quits or made their breakup permanent. We're not saying we don't love these movies, just that it's sometimes better to have loved and then lost. Since we will be discussing characters' fates, we are issuing a spoiler alert. Which of these couples do you think shouldn't get a happily ever after? Let us know in the comments below. Number 20, Scott Pilgrim and Ramona Flowers. Scott Pilgrim versus the world.
You want to come with me?
Yeah.
Scott and Ramona's bond is essential to the entire plot of this romantic action comedy, and yet it's an absolute mess on paper. While pursuing Ramona and battling her 7 evil exes, Scott fails to inform his current girlfriend, Knives. If cheating on 2 women at once isn't bad enough, he then lashes out at Ramona over her relationship history.
I think we should split.
As in get out of here or as in split?
I'd hope you could figure that out.
She makes the wise decision to call it quits, but he manages to win her back. Sure, Scott jumps through some formidable hoops to woo Ramona, but if his treatment of Knives is any indication, he's not exactly boyfriend material.
You cheated on me, Scott. You cheated on both of us?
While an alternate ending shows him ending up with Knives, seeing as he's 22 and she's still in high school, might we posit neither?
I'm too cool for you anyway.
Number 19, Carrie Bradshaw and Mr. Big. Sex and the City. Viewers of the HBO series of the same name were subjected to Carrie and Big's will they, won't they relationship for 6 seasons.
Hey, I have a question for you. Why wasn't it me?
They did have great chemistry, but it was clear that the couple was not exactly good for one another. In the first film, the pair decides to get married, partly to ensure that Carrie will be legally entitled to their shared home. But the man, also known as John James Preston, stands his fiancée up at their wedding.
I can't do this.
Sure, he changes his mind midway through fleeing his own nuptials, and they do eventually tie the knot at the end of the film. But could there be a bigger red flag?
Carrie, I freaked out for a minute, but I'm ready now.
I knew you would do this! I knew it!
Carrie, I'm sorry.
I am humiliated!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Number 18, Benjamin Braddock and Elaine Robinson. The Graduate. What's probably a common fantasy for many young males is to be able to date a girl who also has a beautiful mom.
I guess you kind of lost interest in it over the years then.
Kind of.
However, unfortunately for our pal Dustin Hoffman, his girlfriend's mother is Mrs. Robinson, who adds some negative features to that fantasy after she tries to seduce him.
Oh, God.
Since initially everyone but Mrs. Robinson wants Ben to be with Elaine, this causes the couple to experience a roller coaster of rudeness, deception, and traumatizing events.
My whole life, such a waste. It's just nothing. I'm sorry.
In this relationship, we feel especially sorry for Elaine, as she has to suffer the most because everyone around her thinks Ben is such a terrible guy.
Are we getting married tomorrow?
No.
The day after tomorrow?
I don't know. Maybe we are, and maybe we're not.
A breakup, at least for Elaine's sake, just seems like the best choice, especially considering how uncertain their future is.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Number 17, Peter Brackett and Sabrina Peterson. I Love Trouble. After Nick Nolte and Julia Roberts' rival reporters turn into lovers in this flick, the relationship between the two instantly goes downhill.
Boys! Hi, boys! Look! A double-spotted platypus, they're very rare!
It's such an awkward transition from enemies to lovebirds that the two actually look better when they don't get along.
Oh, by the way, I never did thank you for the mutt. He's been quite an addition to my life. Well, you're very welcome. I hope you named him after me.
To top things off, their characters' initial hatred seemed to transfer into real life, as the actors actually didn't get along on set either. Or maybe it was the other way around. And that's why barely anyone believed their on-screen coupledom.
Because you and I both know this is the story of our lives, and no matter what you say, I know you'd rather be an ace reporter than a second-rate novelist.
What is that?
What is what?
Either way, with Nick Nolte claiming Roberts was, quote, not a nice person, and Roberts describing Nolte as, quote, disgusting, maybe Hollywood should make sure these two never work together again.
I got it. I got it.
Atta girl.
Number 16, Justin Bell and Kelly Taylor. From Justin to Kelly.
So your party guy reputation, that's just a perk.
Well, it used to be.
The fact that Justin Guarini and Kelly Clarkson developed feelings for each other thanks to their American Idol days and briefly dated is interesting, to say the least.
How are you with seasickness?
Well, I'm okay for the first 10 minutes, but after that, you might want to step back.
Yeah, thanks for the advice.
Okay, so that revelation wasn't actually made until way after this film came out, but it's definitely something to note when thinking about this rom-com.
And you accuse me of being a player. Well, you're the one playing games with me, Kelly.
With an extremely socially awkward Justin and a Kelly who is completely oblivious about how to act around guys, the movie features such a dull romance that it makes you wonder if their real-life relationship was just as bad.
Well, good night.
Good night.
Yes, they're both musically talented, but that seems to be the only thing the on-screen pair has in common. We're not even gonna touch the extreme lack of chemistry they had going on.
You know what? Goodbye.
Number 15, Holly Berenson and Eric Messer, Life as We Know It. Enemies to lovers is a staple of the romantic comedy genre, but it doesn't always work. Holly and Eric hate each other's guts.
I don't know what Peter and Allison were thinking.
Yeah, me neither.
Allison, oh my God, the only way you can make this up to me is if you promise I never have to see him again.
When tragedy strikes and their married friends Peter and Allison die in a car crash, godparents Eric and Holly learn that despite their mutual hatred, Peter and Allison made them the guardians of their baby.
I'm sorry. They picked us together?
I'm sure this isn't exactly how you wanted to start a family.
There's been a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
We are not married.
No. They tried to set us up in a blind date. We never even made it to the restaurant.
I don't even know if you're
Because, of course, the two people who can barely be in the same room should raise a child together. The movie tries to convince us that Holly and Eric were meant to be. They just needed a child to push them in the right direction. But judging by the way they fight, and Eric's cracks about Holly's age, it's a no from us.
Because all you care about is getting laid. Even Peter was embarrassed by you. He just never said anything to your face because he was twice the man you are.
You know what? You should probably get laid yourself, except to have sex, you gotta find somebody who can stand you first.
Number 14, Trip and Paula, Failure to Launch. A love built on lies. Another staple of the romantic comedy genre that doesn't always make for a long-lasting, stable relationship. Trip is a 35-year-old man who lives with his parents, a fact that he is perfectly fine with, thank you very much.
We are men who still live at home.
Yes.
We're not here to apologize about who we are, how we do it, or who we live with.
No!
I'm looking around this table, hombres, and I see 3 winners.
But his parents are not. Enter Paula, a woman whose job it is to convince grown men living at home to move out by making them fall in love with her.
He bonds with me. He lets go of you. He moves out.
The story unfolds, and Paula manipulates Trip so well that she inadvertently manipulates herself and falls in love with him. When Trip finds out and is understandably angry, his parents tie him up to force him to talk to Paula again.
You don't want to say anything?
No, I do have a question.
Absolutely, anything.
How many others were there before me? I'm just asking because, maybe we could all get together, form a support group.
Force does not a happy union make. Number 13, Dr. Emma Kurtzman and Adam Franklin, No Strings Attached. Romantic comedies always depend on the chemistry between the two leads. And if that chemistry isn't there, it's hard to make the rest of the movie work. In No Strings Attached, Emma and Adam decide to have a sex-only, all-emotions-barred relationship.
Now, you know this is never gonna work.
Why not?
Because clearly you're gonna fall in love with me.
Oh, really? Well,
Then we just do this until one of us feels something more, then we stop.
For the entirety of their relationship, Adam tries to take things further, even though Emma has been clear that she's not looking for a relationship.
If we were in a relationship, I'd become a weird, scary version of myself, and my throat starts constricting, the walls start throbbing. It's like a peanut allergy, like an emotional peanut allergy.
And for Emma's part, she barely seems to like Adam at all.
It's just no one is as tall. He's so tall. And he's so, like, happy, annoyingly happy all the time.
After much back and forth and will they, won't they, Emma finally agrees. But it feels more like Adam wore her down than anything else. Number 12, Gigi and Alex. He's just not that into you.
I'd rather be like that than be like you.
In this romantic comedy drama, Jennifer Goodwin plays Gigi, a woman who has serious difficulties with dating. While she's sweet and good-natured, she struggles to interpret the sometimes mixed messages her dates put out. That is, until Alex comes along and gives her a crash course in the brutally honest ways of single men.
And he mentions that he's going out of town, so he's going to be out of touch.
Gigi falls for him, and although he comes around in the end, we aren't exactly thrilled to see her go back to someone who'd so callously brushed her off before. On top of that, his ultra-cynical perspective on romance tells us that the couple's future may not be the happiest.
Or maybe the happy ending is this. Knowing that through all the unreturned phone calls and broken hearts, through all the blunders and misread signals, through all of the pain and embarrassment, you never, ever gave up hope.
Number 11, Tessa Young and Hardin Scott, the After franchise.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
The romantic drama series has already produced multiple sequels, but if you ask us, the central couple should not have lasted past the first film. Fresh-faced college student Tessa is dating Noah, but instead connects with the mysterious Hardin. They begin a relationship, but red flags abound. For one, her new lover seems to have a temper and can also be dismissive of her concerns. Most alarming, though, is Tessa's discovery that Hardin pursued her as part of a cruel game to leave her heartbroken.
Tessa? Let's get out of here and I'll explain. I'll explain everything, I promise.
Considering all of these issues, we can't quite support her choice to reconcile with him, let alone continue their torrid romance throughout the series. Number 10, Dex and Rachel, Something Borrowed. Sleeping with your best friend's fiancé? Never a good idea.
Don't answer the phone.
I'll just say,
What?
Rach, I don't know.
It's an emergency, and I think Dex is cheating on me, and I know it sounds so crazy, but hot people, they get cheated on sometimes.
In Something Borrowed, Rachel has had a crush on Dex forever. But since he's engaged to her best friend Darcy, she never said anything, until she did.
Oh, come on, you knew.
She and Dex end up sleeping together, and then continue their relationship while Dex stays engaged to Darcy. They continue their torrid affair for the entirety of the movie, lying to Darcy and everyone else.
This is not wedding jitters. It never was. I can't stop thinking about you.
But of course, because this is a rom-com, things work out perfectly. In the real world, however, we don't condone the massive amounts of lying and sneaking around that Rachel and Dex engaged in. And we don't think it would lead to happily ever after. Number 9, Nick and Amy Dunn, Gone Girl.
Wait for your clueless husband to start his day. Off he goes, and the clock is ticking.
The central couple in this psychological thriller have serious issues, and that is putting it mildly. Although Nick and Amy appear to be a happy pair, the latter's disappearance unearths all kinds of secrets and resentments that have plagued their 5-year marriage. As it turns out, Amy faked her own murder after discovering his affair, but by the end of the film, she's re-entered his life. It's clear they should not remain together, and yet Nick decides to stick it out due to Amy's surprise pregnancy.
We're gonna be parents.
Oh, my goodness.
Although he wants to do right by his child, we're not convinced that remaining in a toxic household is the best way forward. Number 8, Abby Richter and Mike Chadway, The Ugly Truth. Boy tries to fix her and falls in love in the process. In The Ugly Truth, local host Mike tries to help TV producer Abby turn into someone she's not in order to land a guy.
We need that cocktail dresses, tight jeans, and some bras that'll make my friend's breasts sit up and say, hello.
But of course, Mike ends up having feelings for Abby and leaves his philandering ways in the dust. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he was a sexist pig for pretty much the entirety of the movie.
You want a relationship, and here's how you get one. It's called a Stairmaster. Get on it and get skinny and get some trashy lingerie while you're at it, because at the end of the day, all we're interested in is looks.
And what's more, Mike and Abby have completely different views of love. Namely, Abby believes in it and Mike doesn't.
That's it? That's all you have to say?
What do you want me to say?
The truth is ugly, isn't it?
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
There's just no way this relationship would work out in reality. Or at least not in the long term. Number 7, Andy Sachs and Nate Cooper, The Devil Wears Prada.
Well, I happen to think you look great always.
Aww, I think you're full of it.
At the start of this fashion-themed comedy drama, Andy and Nate are a happy and compatible couple. Unfortunately, the protagonist's new job at Runway magazine drives a wedge between her and her boyfriend.
You're mad because I work late all the time and because I missed your birthday party, and I'm sorry.
Come on, what am I for?
On the one hand, it's understandable that the down-to-earth chef misses the more carefree version of Andy that he's used to. But he also levels unnecessary judgment at her, which partly leads to their breakup. In the end, it is strongly implied the couple gets back together. However, the course of their split revealed that they have different values and ambitions, and might not be a good fit after all. To us, the pair rekindling their relationship is a seriously questionable choice.
We might be able to figure something out.
Number 6, Elle Evans and Noah Flynn, The Kissing Booth franchise. The concept of the kissing booth in itself is regressive and problematic, and the tropes the movies use to bring its two love interests, Noah and Elle, together are not much better.
What is the difference between what just happened?
The difference is you.
You're crazy.
I'm crazy about you, Elle.
Elle is best friends with Noah's brother, but has had a huge crush on Noah for a long time. When he starts to notice her, it's not as great as you think. Besides literally kissing Elle while she's blindfolded and doesn't know it's him, Noah spends a lot of the first movie beating guys up on Elle's behalf, victim blaming her, and trying to control her romantic relationships.
You do realize that you're not my dad, right?
Look, you still got a lot to learn, kiddo.
Kiddo, oh my god! Oh, if you were here, I would beat you with my shoe.
Tuppen is a player.
So are you!
And that's why I know he's wrong for you.
Seriously, telling a girl she was asking for it? If we were Elle, we would take that as an enormous red flag.
I kind of just played the whole sexist conversation out in my head, and it always ended with me sounding like a dick.
Number 5, Abby and Harper, Happiest Season. For a movie with the word happiest in the title, we sure cried a lot during this one. The relationship in Happiest Season starts off sweetly enough, with Abby going to meet Harper's family for the first time over the holidays.
I want to wake up with you on Christmas morning. And if that doesn't convince you to love Christmas, I'll never bring it up again.
But unbeknownst to Abby, Harper has not come out as gay to her parents and wants Abby to pretend to be her roommate.
You said it yourself. You're great with parents, so they're going to meet you, they're going to fall in love with you. And then that'll make it so much easier when I do tell them.
Everyone has their own journey of coming out, and it can be a really difficult experience. But that's not an excuse for what Harper puts Abby through. She continuously ditches Abby for her ex-boyfriend, gaslights her, and worse.
Do you know how painful it's been to watch the person that I love choose to hide me?
I am not hiding you. I am hiding me. Okay?
Number 4, Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele, The 50 Shades franchise. This trilogy of erotic drama films could have documented a romance that mixes intimacy with sexual exploration. Unfortunately, the central couple is a textbook example of an unhealthy relationship. Some of Christian's controlling and manipulative behaviors are out of line, and Anna breaks up with him at the end of 2015's 50 Shades of Grey.
Ella.
Christian.
However, they get back together and even get engaged in the sequel 50 Shades Darker.
Be mine. Share my life with me.
Yes.
Bury me.
By the third film, they're newlyweds and eventual parents. But despite the happy ending the series depicts, we cannot help but feel there's something better out there for Anna. Number 3, Larry Gigli and Ricky. Gigli. You might remember Gigli for being labeled as one of the worst movies ever made. But you might not remember quite how bad the relationship between Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck is. Affleck plays Gigli, a low-level mobster, and Lopez, a mafia enforcer who's called in to make sure Gigli does his job.
You don't tell me what to do, okay? Don't tell me what we might do. Don't tell me what we're supposed to do. Don't tell me what we maybe should do. Don't ever tell me nothing.
Well, I'll tell you this. You leave him alone or I'll kill you.
If you remember, the two were actually dating when this movie was released. So the chemistry should have been instant, right? Wrong.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm gonna go and get my stuff.
With laughable dialogue and a very odd setup that involves Gigli seducing Ricky, who's a lesbian, we do not buy this relationship one bit.
Bull. Cow. You got that?
Yeah, I got it. Bull cow.
Number 2, Sierra Burgess and Jamie. Sierra Burgess is a loser. Catfishing narratives are near impossible to pull off, and Sierra Burgess is a loser doesn't succeed. The story centers around Sierra Burgess, who has a crush on popular guy Jamie.
That's your pretty boy? He looked that damn good and he's a good person? It's unfair what it is.
She doesn't think Jamie will like her for who she is, so when Jamie accidentally texts her thinking she's someone else, Sierra goes along with it.
But I gotta think of something better to say than, hey, I've been texting you for hours under false pretenses. Wanna go out sometime?
Oh yeah, definitely. Who wouldn't want to date a dude that just sends random selfies to girls that he don't know?
Not only does she spend most of the movie lying to Jamie, but she also fakes being deaf to keep up her charade, and tricks him into kissing her. But the worst part of it all is that Jamie forgives her and the two end up together.
You are exactly my type. I mean, you're smart and funny and beautiful and talented. I haven't been that impressed by a voice on someone who's not famous ever, like ever.
By missing the body positivity message it was going for, this film ultimately misses the mark. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Bella Swan and Edward Cullen, The Twilight Saga.
I like watching you sleep. It's kind of fascinating to me.
All you Twilight fans, let's be honest here. Even though you may have loved them together, Bella and Edward have a very strange relationship.
I've never wanted a human's blood so much in my life.
I trust you.
Don't.
I'm here. I trust you.
Both of them fail to show any realistic affection to each other, and almost every scene they have together seems like they're trying too hard to be a believable couple.
You had to know that I was alive, that you didn't have to feel guilty about anything. I can let you go now.
Never acted out of guilt. I just couldn't live in a world where you don't exist.
All of Edward's attempts to keep Bella safe from all the other evil vampires and other supernatural creatures are dull.
Why?
Yeah, absolutely, all the time.
Lie better.
Their relationship also adds a dark vibe to the knight in shining armor cliche, and the only thing positive about their relationship appears to be that they would be considered cute if you were into emotionless relationships.
It's highly dangerous.
It's a good thing you're bulletproof.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.